Welcome to CBS Sports Saturday. Now, Brent Musburger.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to CBS Sports Saturday. Coming up live, champion Aaron Pryor and Detroit's Dujuan Johnson will clash in Cleveland with Pryor's WBA junior welterweight title on the line. Now, we'll also have a live visit from a man who has some plans of his own soon, Jerry Cooney, who now not only has Larry Holmes, but another pain in the back to worry about. And time permitting, we'll take an in-depth look at the promise and the reality brought to the University of Tennessee football program by Johnny Majors. And we'll get an early glimpse at the possible bowl matchups and the rest of the day's breaking stories in our sports news update. That's all ahead of us. First, let's check in live with Tim Ryan as the championship boxing action is about to begin here on CBS.
Yes, Brent, we're in Cleveland, Ohio for the WBA Junior Welterweight Championship of the World. Aaron Pryor, the champion, unbeaten from Cincinnati, Ohio, defending his crown for the third time against the challenger from Detroit, Dujuan Johnson. And visiting with the champion in his dressing room, the WBC heavyweight champion of the world, Larry Holmes. Aaron Pryor unbeaten in 28 fights, looking for victim number 29. He won this championship against one of the legends in boxing history, Antonio Cervantes, and he won it right in his hometown of Cincinnati with a dramatic fourth-round knockout. Pryor has since defended the title twice, the first time against tough Gaetan Hart from Canada with another knockout victory. And then his last victim in June of 1981 was Lennox Blackmore. Pryor in his typical swarming style, knocking him down twice in the first round and then finishing him off in round number 2. His opponent today is also unbeaten. He is 17-0. Dujuan Johnson, 20 years of age from Detroit, Michigan. Also a knockout artist with 13 KOs along the way. Showing his punching power here in September of 1981 against Sonny Perez. Dujuan Johnson stopped him in the first round in Phoenix, Arizona. And in his last outing, just 2 weeks later, again another knockout victory for the tough young man from Detroit, Joey Robles, another first-round victim. And so with the crowd awaiting it here in the public auditorium, we look for the excitement of the WBA Junior Welterweight Championship. Pryor and Johnson coming up shortly. Now back to you in New York, Brent.
All right, Tim, thank you so much. Gee, we're going to have Cooney here live. We've got Holmes watching the fight. Let's see if we can't link them up after our action and talk to the two of them about their upcoming bout. We'll start in just a moment.
CBS Sports Saturday is sponsored by Natural Light, the beer with a taste for food. The 1982 Rabbit, nothing else is a Volkswagen. And by Xerox, they make 22 copiers and every one's an original.
The highest mileage car in America comes with front-wheel drive.
Soccer action, and it's terrific. We got a lot of action coming up. We're going to start with the amazing Aaron Pryor and Tim Ryan as CBS Sports Saturday continues in just a moment.
You don't need a haircut, Jim.
Tim Ryan back here at the public auditorium in Cleveland, where we await this Junior Welterweight Championship WBA version. Aaron Pryor defending against Dujuan Johnson, unbeaten from Detroit. He's had 17 fights, 13 knockouts, and has just entered the ring here as he tries to lift the crown from yet another unbeaten fighter, the champion, Aaron Pryor. With us on our boxing coverage, the undisputed champion of the world in the welterweight division, Sugar Ray Leonard, and as usual, Gil Clancy. Ray, you know a little bit about Aaron Pryor. You can go back to amateur days with him, and indeed he's talking about fighting you next.
Well, Tim, he's spoken in reference to fighting me, but I think he better concentrate on this young man here, Dujuan Johnson. Might be an interesting fight.
Okay, Gil, Dujuan Johnson looks like he's got the kind of knockout power we're used to seeing from Pryor.
Well, he has a good, solid amateur background, undefeated as a pro. He can box, he can punch. I think Pryor's ability to maneuver will be the big turning point in the fight.
All right, well, an interesting thing about these two young men themselves, they're renowned sluggers. Their records speak for that, but they're talking about coming out and boxing. We had a chance to talk to them both yesterday.
Well, I expect Aaron to run out, run across the ring, run out, swing all his best shots. He got the first 2 rounds, and then I'm just going to basically stick to my basic boxing, keep my hands up, and going straight down the middle. This fight working a different strategy out, maybe doing a little bobbing and weaving the first round and counter punching, then the middle round doing a little punching, then the later rounds moving on my toes to see how I feel if it goes that far. So I can box or I can slug. So there ain't no thing saying that I have to stand there and slug punch for punch, because I can box and plus hit hard while I'm boxing. So I can do both of them. So, but we won't both be still standing up after 4 rounds. I don't think so. Because he's looking for a lucky shot. He knows that the odds against me and him fighting is like, 10-1. But a lucky shot happens every day. The Larry Holmes fight and Snipes, that wasn't nothing but a lucky shot. And it woke me up. It put me on my P's and Q's. That's why you're going to see a different Aaron out there, a cautious Aaron, a for sure Aaron. All my punches are going to be direct on target. And I plan to show the public what I really can do.
Well, what he has been showing in the past is that he takes everybody out. He's had 20 consecutive knockouts, the champion Aaron Pryor, talking about boxing. Do you believe him for a minute, Ray?
Well, always a guy say, I'm going to do something different, But Pryor's been fighting that same way for so many years. He's still going to apply pressure and a relentless attack.
I would expect that Aaron, the first time he gets hit by Dujuan in the first round, all of a sudden will remember that he's really a sluggard, not a boxer.
Absolutely, Tim. He'll become the old Aaron Pryor, the first solid punch he gets hit. He thinks that he's going to go in there and counter punch and practice, he said. This is no practice. This is for real.
Can he prepare himself mentally properly when he is starting to think about changing his style so dramatically, Ray?
Well, Tim, unfortunately, Pryor's always in tip-top shape mentally and physically. I don't think it's going to be a major problem, but I'm curious to see whether or not he can box or outbox Dujuan Johnson.
Well, that roar of applause is for one of several champions in the house to watch Aaron Pryor. The WBC heavyweight champion Larry Holmes is here, and of course Ray's antagonist in that exciting welterweight championship for the undisputed titles in the world, Thomas Hearns, will be working in the corner of Dujuan Johnson today. Johnson, of course, a member of that now famous boxing stable from Detroit, the Kronk stable, under the heading of Emmanuel Stewart, and Tommy Hearns will be in his corner. We'll be back with the action in a moment.
Copier companies have been introducing small copiers with a very interesting claim.
It's just as good as a Xerox.
It's just as good as a Xerox.
Then one day...
This compact copier is very versatile. It even copies on your own letterhead. It's inexpensive, but best of all...
I know, it's just as good as a Xerox.
It is a Xerox.
The Xerox 2600, the compact copier that really is just as good as a Xerox.
Coal is America's great energy resource, and digging for it still takes a lot of hard-working muscles, sometimes sore, aching muscles. I need Absorbine Junior. Just massage it in. Its warmth penetrates, soaks deep down, relaxes and loosens up sore, stiff muscles.
I use Absorbine Junior once in a while when I get a touch of arthritic pain.
Ah, great. Use Absorbine Junior. It's hard-working medicine for sore, aching muscles.
Tim Ryan with Sugar Ray Leonard, Gil Clancy, live from the Cleveland Public Auditorium, and we have an unfortunate circumstance for the challenger, the number 2 ranked in the world, Dujuan Johnson, who was already on his stool in his corner. The champion, Aaron Pryor, has yet to make his appearance in the ring. Now, we're not going to accuse Aaron of doing this deliberately. We don't know for sure what his delay is, but he hasn't appeared. Ray Leonard, you've had plenty of action in the ring. You've been in championship positions before. What kind of an effect does this have on the challenger, Dujuan Johnson?
Well, sometimes it can play a psych job on it, because when a guy has to wait, especially awaiting a big opportunity, it's a mental strain that's involved. Also, it's kind of cold in here. I'm cold. I have a jacket on, and I'm quite sure Dujuan Johnson has to be a little cold.
Gil? I'm surprised, Tim. Either they should have him covered with a robe, or he should be moving around that ring doing a little shadow boxing. He's sitting there, and he really could get cold. So besides a psych job, it could affect him physically when that bell rings for the first round.
Dujuan Johnson, a record of 17-0, ranked number 2 by the WBA, for whose crown he's battling today, number 8 by the World Boxing Council. His best wins over Greg Netter and Miguel Montilla. He went to a decision against Montilla. Had an outstanding amateur career, as of course Aaron Pryor has had. Johnson started boxing at the age of 12. He won 2 Michigan AAU and Golden Gloves championships. He won the 1978 National Sports Festival championship and turned pro in 1979. One thing we noticed about him in training here in Cleveland. The entire Kronk boxing team under Emmanuel Stewart was here with him, and he had to kind of take his turn waiting to get into the ring. He got no special treatment. The other fighters, Mickey Goodwin, Milt McCrory, would take their sparring rounds, and he'd have to wait to get into the ring, and he was just treated like another one of the team. I think that's an interesting concept, harkening back to the amateur days. Now, the guy you just saw there with his back to you, let's take that picture again if we can. Our director, Bob Fishman, that is former lightweight champion Hilmer Kenty, a former member of the Kronk boxing team. There's Hilmer. And in the corner with Dujuan, as we mentioned earlier, Thomas Hearns. There he is standing at the right of your screen, and that is Emmanuel Stewart, the man who created the Kronk boxing team, in the foreground on the right. So while we are still awaiting the champion, Aaron Pryor, we're going to go back to New York for some quick scoring updates from our Brent Musburger.
Tim, thank you very much. I do have a couple of finals. The longest losing streak continues. It is now at 30 games for Northwestern. They were destroyed by are tied for first in the Ivy League. Now let's find out if Aaron Pryor has arrived yet. Let's go back to Cleveland and Tim Ryan. Tim?
Well, Brent, we can tell you this. He is in the building. There will be a fight unless he's changed his mind. But this is an undue delay. It does not do credit to Aaron Pryor or his handlers if that's where the fault lies. He should be in here. It's not fair to the opponent or the public awaiting it here, both in the hall and on television. But one thing about Aaron, when he gets here, he usually gets started in a real hurry, Gil. This style of Pryor's has become one of the most exciting events in boxing. He comes out like a windmill.
Well, he has before, Tim, but again, he told us this time he's going to go in there and he's going to counterpunch and box. And he said he's going to try some tricks. I think the only trick that he should try is to hit the other guy on the chin. That's what he does best.
26 knockouts in 28 victories. He is unbeaten, as is Johnson. So unless there is the unusual event of a draw, we will have one of these fighters suffering its first defeat this afternoon here in Cleveland's public auditorium. One thing that's interesting about Aaron Pryor, he's at 140 pounds, Ray. He was a lightweight who couldn't get a fight. Nobody would touch him, and he finally decided the only chance he had to be anybody as a pro was to move out of that weight, move up 5 pounds to 140, and of course he went on to win the title rather easily from the great Cervantes. Now he's talking about going up another 5 pounds. Actually, if he had to go all the way to the limit of your welterweight, that would be 147. What do you think about him in terms of his physical ability to do that?
Well, he has so much power to him. He's capable of knocking anyone out. We'll sit back. He knows my phone number. I'll wait his call.
Very good. He knows your phone number. All right. Well, we've got an opportunity for a commercial message, but we can tell you this. The champion is indeed coming into the ring and brandishing his belt as one of his handlers along the way. So we'll be back with round one here in a moment. All right, there is the champion, WBA at 140 pounds, Aaron Pryor. The announcer, Mike Lewis, will be introducing the fighters quickly and very shortly. And there's Pryor taking a little swipe at Dujuan Johnson as Dujuan was out there shadow boxing. Johnson just laughing, and they're having a show here before they've even had the instructions. They would be better served by everybody if their handlers would get them calmed down and just get this thing underway.
Yeah, sure would, Tim. I've seen accidents happen when guys fool around like that. We may have a fight before a fight and won't have the real fight.
Well, one would also hope that we'll get it in before we have to go off the air here today. The referee was appointed by the Cleveland Commission with the acceptance of the World Boxing Association. His name is Jack Keogh. Judging will be done by 3 judges at ringside, appointed by the WBA. Referee Keogh being introduced. As the fighters are being introduced, you get a chance to see the differences physically between these two fighters. Johnson a couple of inches taller, a little more than 2 inches taller, and consequently also a longer reach advantage. The experience, an age factor to Aaron Pryor, defending his title for now the 3rd time. Johnson going into his 18th professional fight, battling for this WBA junior welterweight crown. Pryor being introduced. The judges at ringside: Richard Murray from Atco, New Jersey, Vincent Rainoti from New York City, Albert Tremonti from Chicago. Well, the sight continues here. We're a little cool at ringside, and you were surprised that, Ray, that Johnson didn't warm up a little more just to keep himself warm while he was waiting in there.
Very surprised, Tim, because he stood. I'm quite sure he has enough experience to know that a fighter can get cold very easily, especially waiting.
And in this cold building, because it's cold in here.
Johnson has shown absolutely no sign of nerves, however. He looks very calm, very relaxed, and confident. We're going to have some action here. Finally, the bell for round one, and it's Johnson who came running out in a hurry, but not with any serious intention. And here's Aaron Pryor doing something unusual for him, just testing out his legs.
Well, both men have to be very careful because they both carry big punches in both hands.
On Pryor's trunks, an emblem of a hawk, a nickname he favors. And Dujuan Johnson, known in Detroit circles around the Kronk as Mr. Excitement.
The way Pryor's moving around the ring, I've never seen this before. I think he's trying to warm himself up. This could be the case here.
Now Johnson goes to the attack and lands a combination to the head of Pryor. Gets a smile back from the champion.
You might see an early knockdown.
There it is, right there. Johnson. As Ray Leonard called that literally a second before. Now Pryor saying I'm fine, gets right up and goes after Dujuan Johnson, and that's what we expected too.
Remember, Tim, they were both going to box. Both guys were going to box. Now look what they're doing. As soon as he got hit.
You know Aaron Pryor is going to risk getting knocked out if he can avoid it, and the only way to do that is to go after his opponent.
Pryor punches off balance. Dujuan Johnson is much more of a technician. I think he has better balance, and Pryor may go down again.
Dujuan Johnson with Pryor to the ropes, and now Aaron ties him up.
Now Dujuan should stay on top of Pryor now. Pryor still is a little dazed. Head is not clear. Dujuan should take advantage of this opportunity because it might not come again.
There he goes. He was hurt badly by that left hook.
Solid left hook from Johnson. He just missed with that one, and another.
Pryor's hands should be up at this moment because he's vulnerable for a left hook.
Now it's Pryor on the attack, scoring a combination to the head of Johnson. This is the slugfest we expected, and the crowd responding. I'd like to alert our stations along the line. There'll be a 30-second station break at the end of this round number one.
Well, Johnson's in trouble now. He blew an opportunity, and Pryor, being such a very strong puncher, he's going to see a lot of damage down there.
Johnson has looked over at our broadcast position twice as to indicate that, hey, fellas, this is just what we expected, isn't it? He's the one who said he didn't expect someone to be standing longer than 4 rounds. A big right hand from Pryor landed.
Oh, Tim, all the tricks in boxing went out the business. They're both throwing those bombs.
Less than 30 seconds to go, round one.
If I was the second, I'd like to get my fighter back in the corner, no matter which one it is, and calm him down.
20-year-old Dujuan Johnson. Final seconds of round one. CBS Sports Saturday continues after this word from your local station.
This is CBS.
We're awaiting round number 2, scheduled for 15, and it is highly unlikely it will go that far. The champion in white, the challenger in red, Dujuan Johnson. He looks older. He's only 20, from Detroit, Michigan. And now Pryor comes out with his famous fury. But Johnson standing there going toe-to-toe with him, and he wobbled him with a body punch, and another one. Pryor clowning around, but I think he was hurt by those shots, Ray.
Those shots I heard. I think both men are rocking each other. The problem they have here, Tim, is both of them trying to upstage the other.
Pryor thinks he's invincible. He doesn't think that he can get knocked out. He has more confidence in himself. Even when he's on the floor, he can't wait to get up to get at the other fella.
Still, he's always been this way, even as an amateur. Pryor always had that showmanship in him. And here, he can't afford to show.
That's absolutely right, Ray. Anybody can get knocked out if they get hit right, and this Johnson can punch.
They are both unbeaten. Pryor on a streak of 20 consecutive knockouts. Johnson with 13 KOs in his 17 wins. Again, we'd like to alert our stations along the line. Another 30-second station break coming up at the end of round 2. Thomas Hearns looking on from the corner. His stablemate of the Kronk gym in Detroit, Dujuan Johnson, is very much in this scrap. having knocked down the champion in round 1. Good uppercut from Pryor to left hook back.
Well, in Detroit, they call Johnson Mr. Excitement, and boy, he sure is.
Well, both men start out as a very fast pace and landing big punches. If this one goes down now, I think it's from fatigue.
Well, again now, stations along the line are going to be your commercial coordinator here. We're not going to a station break at the end of round 2. We're going to stay here in Cleveland at the end of the second round.
I mentioned if any edge Pryor would have, it's in maneuverability. He manages to step to the side, and then he nailed Johnson with a good punch. He's all over the place, Pryor. He's never in front of you.
Now, Pryor should show some experience. He has the experience. He should use it instead of just using brute strength.
Well, a taller Johnson has shown his strength in that last exchange as he kind of tied up Pryor and leaned on him.
Well, he landed a couple of pretty good left hooks, too, Tim.
Well, you commented Pryor throws punches from all angles.
This is the Golden Gloves final fight. Hey, that's what it looks like.
I like to see one of them go to the body. I think it'd be so much effective.
Well, Johnson has dug in a couple of pretty good left hooks underneath, Ray. But he isn't doing it now, and he's standing straight up, which could be fatal.
Under 30 seconds to go in round 2.
I'm looking for Pryor to throw an overhand right because Dujuan Johnson, he dropped that left hand, and he could be asking for trouble.
Sugar Ray Leonard, Gil Clancy, Tim Ryan live in Cleveland for an action-packed junior welterweight title bout. Exactly what we anticipated. A reminder again to the stations, we are not going to a station break. That's the end of round number 2. We're going to go back and show you the knockdown punch from Dujuan Johnson that came in round number 1, startling the champion, but he was up immediately as he was against Cervantes.
Well, here you see it, a right hand straight down the pipe, and he caught Pryor coming in. You can't get hit harder than that, Tim. And Pryor was right up and dancing in 1 second. Look at the way he went down.
And immediately up.
Immediately. He is something else.
Looking into the corners, you see Panama Lewis exhorting his champion, perhaps telling him to be, hey, a little bit more careful. Don't keep sticking your chin out there to get hit. Move your head, move your body. Emmanuel Stewart working in the corner of Dujuan Johnson. We're in the champion's corner at the moment. Aaron Pryor ready for round number 3. The challenger in red, Dujuan Johnson. The champion, Aaron Pryor in white. Johnson from Detroit. Pryor from Cincinnati. That's the first legitimate jab we've seen either fighter throw and land since the fight started.
Well, he's beginning to settle down more now. He should have did this the very first round because that very first round is so critical because you don't know what's going to happen.
Referee is Jack Keogh of Cleveland. Stations along the line have been waiting for this information. I know, yes, we're going to go to a station break to tell us here at the end of this 3rd round. Pace has finally slowed somewhat.
Dujuan seems to be waiting for one good punch.
Very, very low blow by Dujuan Johnson, but the referee's backwards to the punch.
Good right hand from Dujuan Johnson.
Pryor's dazed now. Again, Dujuan Johnson should take advantage of this opportunity because it's very difficult to hurt Aaron Pryor.
Right from Pryor, left from Johnson.
The big difference I see between these two fellas is that Pryor is so maneuverable. He can go from side to side, and he elevates the head and he lowers the head. Johnson is always straight up. He's always there. You can close your eyes and hit him.
If you notice, both fighters, they hesitate from time to time. Now, there is mutual respect now because they've both been hit by dynamite punches.
Well, they sure have.
Sugar Ray Leonard with Gil Clancy, Tim Ryan live at ringside. WBA Junior Welterweight Championship, 140 pounds.
Big right hand by Pryor.
But he was wobbled on a counter punch and then lost his balance and is quick to tell everybody he's all right. Sneaky right hand lead by Pryor landed. Under a minute to go, round 3.
When Pryor throws that right hand, if he comes back with the left hook, it will land. Because what happened, Johnson drops that right hand.
Good right hand by Johnson, backed up the champion.
Now Pryor's really hurt now.
This time he's really hurt.
Johnson has the champion in trouble, but Pryor counter-punching back, perhaps by instinct. We'll see how fresh he is momentarily. Less than 30 seconds to go. Round 3.
He's moving to try to clear his head.
Yes, he is, Ray. He knows he's in trouble.
Well, he should continue, Gil, because he needs to clear his head now. He's still a little dazed.
Right hand from Pryor landed, but Johnson was not hurt by it. CBS Sports Saturday continues after this word from your local stations.
This is CBS.
Yes.
Round number 4. Panama Lewis appeared to be asking his charge, "Are you all right?" Aaron doing a lot of chin shaking and indicating that he is okay. That knockout percentage could work against him today.
Well, Tim, I sense a knockout in the making, an upset in the making.
Dujuan Johnson, the challenger in red, 20 years of age from Detroit, Michigan.
But we can't count Pryor out because Pryor has power in both hands, whereas he's capable of putting a man out with the right.
What a straight right hand by Johnson over Pryor's left hand. Couldn't have hit him harder. Right on the button.
Well, one question I think has been answered. Pryor can take a punch even if he's the victim of a knockout ultimately in this fight. He has taken some raps that would have finished some other guys by now.
Johnson is a sharpshooter. His punches are straight and very effective.
Well, he said that he was going to go right down the middle. He said he was going to throw all his punches right down the middle and let Pryor
There's
throw
another
those
big right hand. That wobbled Pryor, Gil.
Yes, it did.
You notice the way Johnson pushed Pryor off. That means he has more power left.
He hasn't shaken Pryor's confidence yet, though. That's the amazing thing. Well, Pryor believes in himself.
Always, Gil.
Welterweight champion Sugar Ray Leonard with Gil Clancy here at ringside, Cleveland, Ohio. Round number 4.
Another thing that could be a factor here, neither one of these fighters has spent too many rounds in the ring because of all of their knockouts.
Another big right hand and a second one by Johnson.
The point I'm trying to make is if this fight gets into the 7th or 8th round, they both may be dead tired. It may look like a slow motion fight. They're letting it all hang out now, and they can't do that for 15 rounds.
But I know Pryor can knock you out even when he's tired. I've never seen Dujuan Johnson really go the distance of knocking an opponent out.
Left hook landed from Johnson.
Johnson's winging now. He's trying to punch a little too hard.
Under a minute to go, round 4.
Johnson can't afford to keep winging shots, especially missing with a guy like Aaron Pryor. Although most of his punches are landing.
It's been a good round thus far for the challenger. He scored a knockdown in the first round.
Now we see Pryor using his experience.
Under 30 seconds, round 4. Good punching inside from Pryor.
Those short punches are effective.
Final seconds, round number 4. What a war. Larry Holmes, WBC heavyweight champion at ringside. He knows about possible upsets. He had to get off the floor against Snipes last week to hold on to his crown. Dujuan Johnson, the challenger here in round number 5 in the red trunks, Pryor and white.
Tim, Johnson has had Pryor hurt 3 or 4 times and let him get off the hook. If Aaron hurts Johnson, he's not going to get off the hook because Pryor is one of the best finishers I've ever seen in boxing once he really gets you hurt.
Other than me, Gil.
Well, the present company except
he said one of the best finishers. Pryor landed a good right hand to Johnson in that exchange. That is a good point, Gil, and I know, Ray, you know the importance of it because, indeed, you know how to do it. What is that? Is that an instinct, or how do you deal with it when you know you got a guy hurt and you got to finish him?
Well, you take your time and you put your punches together. And this is the key. I'm quite sure it's like Gil said. Once Pryor hurt Johnson, if he hurts Johnson bad, the fight will end.
We're in the 5th round, scheduled for 15. Johnson, if he joined us late, had Pryor down in round 1.
All right, that right hand was an example. When Johnson had Pryor hurt, instead of throwing correct punches, he started to wing and he started to miss. You have to keep your cool when you have a guy hurt and then just professionally put him away. Correct, Ray?
Yes. Now Pryor's taking pop shots now. He's picking the shots, and eventually he's going to start putting his punches together. He'll start doing a combination.
Pryor landed a right hand lead. Johnson just goes toe-to-toe with him. Now Pryor with a good combination backs up Johnson to the ropes. Johnson avoiding the rest of that exchange pretty well.
Beautiful head movement on the ropes by Johnson. He got hit with a couple, but Pryor expended a lot of energy.
One thing you should watch is the fact that Johnson throws 1, 2 punches. Pryor throws combination. He throws a series of punches.
Punches are much shorter than Johnson's.
Under a minute to go in the 5th round of this slugfest. Fighters working right above us near the corner of the champion Pryor.
Johnson wants the right hand.
But now they're coming from too far out.
Pryor complained earlier about a headbutt, and I think that's a slight abrasion on his right eye.
This landed an overhand right. Didn't seem to move Johnson.
The little short punches are far the more effective punches by Pryor.
Home run ball tried there by Johnson. He missed it. Final seconds of round number 5. I'm frankly surprised it's gone this far. Good right hand. Just been told Missouri leading Oklahoma 19-7. And of course you'll get the complete scoring update from Brent Musburger later in our program here on Sports Saturday. This is round 6 of a tremendous battle thus far. Dujuan Johnson, the challenger in red. The junior welterweight champion Aaron Pryor in white.
Pryor is trying to wing, excuse me, Johnson's trying to wing, and Pryor's throwing those short punches. That's the difference now. Pryor is starting to get up on top.
Well, if the scorecard ever matters, the way we see it, Johnson is handily in front. Indeed, we gave Pryor his first round back in the preceding round number 5. But I'm still doubtful this thing is going to go the distance the way they're throwing him.
I haven't found one expert that we ran into, Tim, that said it was. Everybody predicted a knockout in this fight. They said it was a referee's fight. You didn't need the judges.
Now, Pryor's always made up. He's ripping the body of Johnson, and he's hurting him with those body shots.
Sugar Ray Leonard, Gil Clancy, and Tim Ryan. We are live at the Public Auditorium in Cleveland, and these fans are really getting their money's worth. Next week, Alexis Arguello, Roberto Elizondo, WBC Lightweight Championship here on CBS Sports Saturday in Las Vegas.
Johnson may be a little onward because he hasn't returned any punches so far, except for a little left jab.
He got nailed with 2 good punches right at the end of the last round, Ray.
They're just standing there toe-to-toe trading those punches. Tremendous stamina and conditioning showed by both of them thus far.
I just saw Johnson took the right hand, and it had nothing behind it. After this point now, Pryor will come on strong.
All right, Ray Leonard sees the tide turning in favor of the champion. Under a minute to go, round 6.
Pryor's ripping the body. He's hurting Johnson.
Johnson's going to have to get a second win. If he doesn't get a second win, Ray, it will be over in the next 2 rounds anyhow.
Observe when Johnson throws his punches at this point now. Nothing behind it. The left hook that Johnson just threw. There was nothing behind it. It was an arm punch.
That's exactly
right.
No
body behind it.
No zip.
Here's when you see Pryor at his best. Inside, especially when the opponent is tired and hurt.
Under 30 seconds to go, round number 6. Johnson throwing them one at a time. Trying to load up for that one big punch.
Today is the wedding.
We're into round number 7. The challenger quickly off the stool to the center of the ring. Aaron Pryor hasn't had to go this far since April of 1980 when he went 10 against Leonidas Asprilla, knocking him out in the 10th round. He's had 5 fights since then. The farthest he's gone is 6 against Gaetan Hart. For Dujuan Johnson, it was December 6th of 1980, and that was 6 fights ago since he went more than 4 rounds. Ray, any significance to that?
Not really. I think this fight is going to decide on who's in better shape.
Who do you think is?
Both of them are in great shape.
Johnson, the challenger, has been on the attack early in this 7th round. Gil?
Well, when the bell rang, Pryor went back to that first round strategy of circling around, and he got nailed again the same way he did in the first round. Now he's back flat-footed again.
There has been one knockdown. It came in the first round. Johnson sending the champion to the canvas. He was up immediately.
Pryor has by far the better hand speed, and he puts his punches together better. As you said, Ray, Dujuan loads up on one punch, but when Aaron hits you, he hits you 4 or 5 times.
I'm going to say the same thing, Gil. Pryor punches together quite well.
Oh, big right hand.
Big right hand by Pryor.
Stagger Johnson, he's in trouble.
Now you watch Pryor. Now you watch a finisher.
Johnson doing pretty well again, bobbing and weaving on the ropes, but he is still very wobbly.
And Pryor's non-stop here.
Can't get his hands up, and that's going to be it. The referee, Keogh, steps in, and Aaron Pryor, with startling suddenness in the 7th round, has retained his junior welterweight championship with a knockout victory over the challenger number 2 in the world, Dujuan Johnson. A tremendously exciting slugfest, as expected. A great effort by the challenger, had the champion down in the first round, but as Sugar Ray Leonard and Gil Clancy kept indicating, from about the 5th round on, Pryor was turning the tide, and when he hits you and gets you in trouble, forget it. School's out. There is the champion, Aaron Pryor, successfully defending for the 3rd time. His trainer, Panama Lewis, hoisting him aloft. And Aaron Pryor stopping Dujuan Johnson in the 7th round. Gentlemen?
Well, here you see Pryor coming after him. And there he catches him coming in with that big right hand. And once Pryor hits you like that, you know you're going to be facing a hurricane, and he becomes a hurricane.
Gil, the crowd's a little disturbed from the stopping of the fight. But they have to realize this young man is in the ring against a guy that has so much power and experience.
Look at the way he's throwing those punches, Ray. He must have thrown 30 punches in the few seconds after he has him hurt.
He puts on constant pressure, and he takes full advantage of an opportunity when he hurts his opponent. That overhand right did a lot of damage. And at this point now, Dujuan was stunned and was in trouble the whole time.
Well, as Tim asked you, Ray, is it instinct when you know you have a guy hurt like that? Pryor had hit him hard many times before, but once he senses that he has you hurt, it's all over for you. There's no question about that.
It's experience, but also instinct, because when your opponent is hurt, you must take advantage of it.
One thing about Aaron, he doesn't worry about getting tired, pacing himself, or anything else.
I'm surprised, because he went from first round full steam ahead, and like even the last round, we ended the fight, he still had enough strength to stop the fight.
Well, you know, that suggestion that he had before the fight, he thought he was going to have an easy fight with Dujuan Johnson. He was going to try tricks, and he was going to counterpunch. Okay, let's go back to Brent Musburger in New York.
All right, Gil, thank you so much. We'll get right back to you in Cleveland with Aaron Pryor, but still ahead of us here on CBS Sports Saturday. Look who's going to be in the studio live. Jerry Cooney, and you guys see if you can hook up Larry Holmes out there at the other end, and we'll talk about what could be the fight of 1982. Also ahead of us, we're going to find out about Johnny Majors, the football coach on the hot seat in Tennessee. We'll catch you up on all the big stories and highlights of the day. We've got some final scores and some scores that you're interested in right now. Nebraska a winner over Iowa State, 31 final. Texas now keying in on the Cotton Bowl, 31-15 over TCU. Let's go back to Cleveland now, and Tim Ryan and Gil Clancy.
That way he doesn't get hurt. All right, we're here with the champion, Aaron Pryor. Aaron was as exciting as everybody expected it would be. You got knocked down in the first round. What were you thinking when you jumped back up?
Well, I was thinking that about my title was on the line, and that this guy wasn't a playmate, and that I got serious that I got knocked out in the first round, but it was good for me. It disciplined me. It let me know that I'm with the greatest promotion in the world, and I got back on my P's and Q's. But before I say any more, Tim, I want to thank you and CBS for making this possible, and my manager and my manager, Buddy Russell, and Don King, because it was just beautiful, the whole promotion.
Aaron, you were the one who said before when you saw Snipes knock down Larry Holmes that it was going to keep you thinking about that possibility. Was that a factor when he went down?
Well, it did. It kept me thinking. That's why I got knocked down. I should have never thought about that, because once you think about something, it happens to you.
Sometimes it happens.
And that's what happened to me. But in good faith, it makes me a better champion like it did Larry Holmes. But sincerely, I'm happy because the Lord has answered a lot of prayers, and I hope that the next fight be the biggie. And Don King promised me.
What should be the biggie? Who do you want to fight next?
I want to fight Leonard, because I feel like I'm the king of the junior welterweights for what I've already done. If Don promised me that if he can't get Leonard to sign, that he would go for Alex Aguero. So I'm just going to wait in line until he puts it together, because
you'll go up 5 or down 5 and be comfortable either way.
Either way to go. I proved today that I was strong enough and a king in the junior welterweights. But I worked hard. My trainer, Panama Lou, and my manager, Buddy Rose, they all did a splendid job.
All right, Aaron. You gave everybody their money's worth. I'll tell you that, as usual. A most exciting fight. The champion, Aaron Pryor. Now, Brent Musburger will be returning with some more sports scores updates after these messages.
Big Chavis is no big thing. As most of you know, on December 5th, Jerry Cooney was scheduled to fight Joe Bugner. He'll have to settle for me, but Jerry, I understand that you suffered a back injury. What exactly happened? What's wrong?
Well, what's happening is my doctor, Dr. Minkoff, feels that it's important for me to get on some machines because the strength in my arms is not strong enough to support my back. It's the third time it happened. It happened when I was supposed to fight Andy Shavers, and then it happened when I was training for Kenny Norton the first time, and now this. I was looking forward to fighting Joe Bugner.
Jerry, is this a congenital back problem, or is it just a muscle that you pulled working out? I'm not clear on it. What happened?
Just a muscle pulling my back.
Which side?
In the mid-back, right in the middle. And it's happened before in the same spot. So we're going to get on some machines and strengthen it up so it won't happen again.
Now, will you fight Bugner later, or is that fight now off?
Well, I'm confident that the fight will go through in January. I'm sure that my managers, Mike Jones and Dennis Rapport, are working that out. But I'm confident with my trainer, Victor Valle. I feel he's the best trainer in boxing today. And whatever they decide is good for me.
You still then would like a fight before you take on the champion, Larry Holmes?
Whatever it works out will be fine. I'm looking forward to fighting Larry Holmes in March. I'm getting bored with all the talking, and March is coming soon.
All right. I'll tell you another man who's probably bored with all the talking, Jerry, is the champion, who is now standing by in Cleveland. And Larry, what about Jerry Cooney, who's here in the studio with me, and the fact that that fight against Bugner has been called off? How does that affect your plans, or does it?
It doesn't affect my plans. Anything that Jerry Cooney does doesn't affect my plans. I'm just looking for the opportunity to knock him out, because I think the world knows, and I might well say here on CBS, that I cannot wait for the opportunity to destroy Jerry Cooney, prove to the people of the world Jerry Cooney is a hope. And he will not be the heavyweight champion as long as Larry Holmes is still around.
Jerry, he called you a hoax, and I know that you can't wait to get in the ring against Larry, too, right? Do you want to respond to that?
There's been enough talking. March is coming soon. Let's just go and fight, and may the better man win.
Larry, let me take you back to the fight against Snipes. How disappointed were you in your performance that night? You were knocked down, and then you had to come back.
Well, again, I show you how much of a champion I really am. I was knocked down, and most of my concentration was on Jerry Cooney. but I wasn't really disappointed because I thought I did a very good job. It's just to show you how real of a champion I really is. And if Jerry Cooney can stand in my shoes, more power to him, and then I feel that he's a champion of his own right, and I think he should get the respect from around the world. But until Jerry Cooney steps in the ring with Larry Holmes, he's nothing. He haven't proven he fought anybody. He fought all old guys. And I understand that they said that Larry Holmes showed his age with the Monado Snipes. So what? If I show my age at 32 years old and fit right in the class with Jerry Cooney because he's been knocking out bombs, bring it on, Jerry. Let's get it on. Stop messing around. Get off behind your mother's dress, and let's see who's the better man.
All right, Larry, one question for you before we let you go. Now that Jerry is going to fight Bugner in January, will you have another warm-up prior to Cooney?
No, sir. Let's reverse the Michael Katz article. Jerry Cooney lays down the law to Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes laying down the law to Jerry Cooney. Jerry Cooney cannot have an Aaron fight unless he have it before January the 1st. And if he have it January 1st, he will find himself in a lot of trouble. But again, that's up to the promoters and the lawyers and everybody that's to work with. I think Jerry Cooney will have to step in the ring with me in March. And if he don't step in the ring with me in March, and then I think the world knows that Jerry Cooney is running, he's scared, and I am the baddest heavyweight in the world, so come on with it.
All right, Larry, thank you very much. Jerry, he seems to still believe that you're trying to duck him for some reason, that this might be a ruse, this injury, and you're not going to get in the ring with him in March. You want to respond to that?
Well, I understand. I didn't get to see the fight the other night. I fell asleep, but from what I understand, after the fight was over, he said that he's giving me till December to sign. So obviously he must have been a little shaken up still, because the fight was signed prior to this fight with
Snipes.
Yes.
All right, so come March, you'll be there, right? Just where Holmes was.
I couldn't hear what he was saying, but I'm sure that the words were invented in a very gentlemanly fashion.
Yes, they always are. Jerry, get that back healthy, and we'll see you in January with Bugner. Okay, good. And CBS Sports Saturday will continue after these messages from your local stations. We'll be back to take a look at Johnny Majors and a complete rundown of the football action.